Hello, my name is Eric Sheptock. I am chairman of SHARC, Shelter, Housing, and Respectful Change, a group of homeless advocates fighting for real solutions to homelessness. What I want to talk to you about today is the mayor's latest move in terms of dealing with homeless people. DC Mayor Vincent Gray firmly believes that homeless people, even homeless families, are just lazy and shiftless, and his latest move is that he's trying to legislate through the budget. He wants to insert amendments to the Homeless Services Reform Act into the Budget Support Act. And that's a lot of jargon, but that said, he basically wants to make it harder for families to remain in shelter when they need it. And these amendments that he's proposing are going to make it where a family can be put out of shelter with no more than 24 hours notice. Now, homeless families have children. That's what qualifies them as families in terms of the government terminology. And so there are parents with children who could very easily lose their shelter and have no more than a day's notice and could end up on the street. And they can be put out for some very arbitrary reasons, such as, quote unquote, being difficult. And in the past, or actually even presently, the HSRA, as we often call it, makes it such that if you commit a nonviolent offense while in shelter, you get a 90-day period in which to call for an administrative hearing, and you get to remain in shelter during those 90 days. But all of that may very well change. And a recent email from BB Otero, the mayor's deputy mayor, actually said very clearly that they believe that offering shelter to families indefinitely will actually serve as a disincentive and cause those families to want to remain. But I've spoken to family members, and they've said they really don't want to remain in a shelter where there are rats and bed bugs and mice and all other sorts of pets. They're there because they need to be there, and so making it easier to put them out just adds insult to injury. And so myself and others in SHARC and other organizations that we collaborate with have asked the DC Council, which has to vote on the mayor's budget, not to pass the Budget Support Act with those amendments in there, to take those amendments out and to make the mayor go through the normal legislative process where various people and all council members get to weigh in. The mayor, even though he has a history in human services, seems to be very out of touch with the present realities of homeless people. And so what we don't want him to do is pull this slick move by slipping this new legislation into the Budget Support Act, which normally are two separate processes, but bring this thing through committee, let the experts work on it, let the experts advise him, and let's do this thing properly. And he also needs to be educated on the fact that homeless people don't really like being homeless. We want living wage jobs and affordable housing, and we really do want solutions to homelessness. But what often happens, though, is that these families are pressured into getting out of shelter. They have these time-limited programs, and they get out for a couple of months, then their savings dry up, and they can't pay the rent, and they go back to shelter. If it takes you 2 and 3 months of work to earn enough money to pay 1 month's rent, then quite obviously you can't maintain like that. And so the mayor's administration is not very good at helping people work through their various issues and find real solutions, real long-term solutions to homelessness. And that's where the failures begin. So Mayor, take this out of the Budget Support Act, legislate through the normal process, let the experts weigh in and help you figure this thing out, and let's do this thing right. Thank you.